and welcome back to my channel. Unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about and spotlight me favorite movies, mostly horror, and me favorite music, mostly metal. And we are going to continue with my little indie hidden gems with Pyewacket. Pyewacket's from IFC Midnight. It's an interesting, neat little independent horror movie that I quite enjoyed. Now, Pyewacket was released in 2017. It was written and directed by Adam MacDonald. And it stars Laurie Holden, Nicole Muñoz, and Chloe Rose. And who plays Aaron? Eric Osborne. There you go. Not going to leave out my boys on the main stars. He was just as much in it as everybody else. So, Pyewacket, like I said. Now, Pyewacket is revolves around Leah Reyes. Leah Reyes is a high school chick whose whose little circle of friends, Janice and Aaron and Rob, are all, I guess, what you would call outcasts. They're the heavy metal crowd. You know, they dress in black and wear their skulls and their jewelry, and they're, black and silver, and sort of like me. They wear all their metal stuff. And so we noticed that her mother is pretty whacked. She's obviously got some emotional issues. I don't really know what happened to the father. Did he leave them, or did he die? Maybe he died or something, but she is not dealing with it well. She has got some serious emotional issues. She's snapping at her daughter and stuff like that, and her daughter's getting really tired of it. So her daughter's having a hard time dealing with this. Meanwhile, of course, her daughter has a very interest. She's very, very interested in this crowd and the music, and unlike the other three who think it's cool, she is kind of a little bit more into the occult aspect of it all. She has a little bit more interest in that than the other three do, which is usually the case. I'm as heavy metal as they come, even if I do listen to disco too. But I'm as heavy metal as they come, and I like all the black and silver and all of my shirts and, and everything. But I like the occult imagery, but that's really all. I mean, I'm not out there with a Necronomicon doing rituals in the woods. You know what I'm saying? It's just not my thing. And that's most people aren't. They just like the look of this stuff. And so I'm kind of more like Aaron and Rob and Janice, with it. But she's a little bit more into that, but also is a little bit more interested in the occult. But they're all really interested in this book that this guy's wrote, and he's in town for a book signing. So they all go to the book signing. She comes home. Her mother screams and shit at her again. And she's like, you're just, what is wrong with you? You're being such a bitch. You're all over the place. You're like mood swings left and right. So the girl's getting really tired of it, and she comes home the next day and from school, and the mother is doing it again, right? And she ends up telling her, really getting ugly with it this time. I mean, way beyond what is acceptable. She calls, she grabs her hand and she's like, "What is that on your finger?" And it was just like a skull ring or something. And she grabbed it and she jerked it off, and she's like, "What the fuck are you trying to be, a Manson girl?" And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And then she's like, "You don't talk about," and she started talking really ugly about her friends. "You want to be a fucking loser like your friends?" And she's like, "Don't talk about my friends that way." And it's like, they're a bunch of fucking losers. I mean, she went way over the top. I'd have been like, "You better back off, lady, or I'm fixing to pop you one." That's what I would have been, because it really was her mother being way, way more overly. You know what I'm saying? So the final straw comes when the mother tells her that She does apologize to her the next day, but it's kind of like a little too late, because the girl is about ready to ritual her ass. You know what I'm saying? And the mother comes and tells her that they're going to move. She's already bought another place up north, 2 hours away. This traumatizes Leah even further because I'm not leaving my school and my friends, and plus she likes Aaron and Aaron likes her, but they haven't took it anywhere yet. But you can tell they like each other. So, you're not going to uproot my life. So the mother does agree to let her, well, maybe you can finish out the year, and she's all, why can't I get a car and learn to drive and come, drive myself? But the mother does relent and say, well, I will take you to school and pick you up. This, of course, is still cutting out a lot of her after school and hangout time with her friends. So after all that this has been said and done, her daughter is just through with her. And she actually does have a Pyewacket ritual. And she goes out into the woods behind this new place that they bought. She goes out into the woods and she just does it. She cuts her wrist and does all of the stuff and knocking on the trees and the red yarn and all kind of. She does this entire ritual to call the Pyewacket to kill her mom. Okay? And what's kind of crappy about it is the mom kind of straightens up a little bit. So maybe the mom really did just need to get out of that place, town. But it's all kind of a little moot now, right? You fucked up and your daughter just went and did a fucking death ritual on you. So the daughter starts hearing all, things. There's something creeping around the house at night, and crap like that. And she's hearing something walk around in the attic and on the roof. And it looks like something kind of leafy and woodsy has walked through the house. Like tracks on the floor and shit. So she's starting to really freak out while at the same time kind of regretting because her mother's been acting better. And so it's a careful what you wish for type situation and careful what you do. So this thing is after them now. She goes and tells her friends, and her friends are like, you're full of shit. That's not going on. They tell her what she tells them what they did. So not only do they disbelieve that anything's going on, but they're also kind of a little disgusted with her. I think it was Rob was the worst one because he was just what kind of psycho does a ritual to kill their mother? And she's like, well, you do all that kind of stuff. You do rituals to try to get a girlfriend. and he's like, yeah, but that's not blackcraft against my mother. I'm not trying to kill my mother. I'm just trying to get laid. And you have to go, fair point. In the great scheme of thing, fair point. I guess there is a big difference in you doing a love spell around a candle at midnight than there is trying to have a demon come up and kill your family. You know what I mean? I think there's a difference there in the scale of things. So I was like, dude's right, whether you like that or not. And even Janice and Aaron was like, he's got you there. He may be a dickwad that whacks off to, to rituals and stuff, love rituals and things. But I don't think that compares to you using black magic to try to kill your mother. And I think Leah, I guess Leah was like, okay, fair point. But what's done is done. Okay, I understand. I still did what I did, and this is what's happening. So Janice, she agrees to go up there and spend the night with him and ask the mom, so the mom lets her go. She spends the night up there and she sleeps on the couch. They have a good afternoon, the mother's nice, they act nice and they have a good time and she goes to sleep on the couch. Well, the next morning, the mom comes in there and wakes Leah up and is like, where's Janice? Right? So I was like, oh my God, the Pyewacket got her, right? So, they're looking all over the place for Janice And then all of a sudden Leah hears her like calling from the front yard, right? And they go out there, and Janice is locked in the car. Not only is she locked in the car, but she's like screaming, "Take me home." And she won't hardly say nothing else. And she won't even unlock the door until they went and got the keys and promised to get into the car and take her home right now. So the next day at school, like, she messages her all day. She won't answer. She didn't show up for school. A couple days go by, and you hear Leah's mom like on the phone with obviously the other girl's mom. And you know, she's like, "No, I don't know what happened. I mean, is she all right?" You know, and it's like, she has not come out of her bedroom since they brought her home. So you're like, fuck, man, I don't know what she saw. But we will in a bit. Just give the movie time, right? So this really scares Leah, right? And Leah ends up contacting the guy who wrote that book and was like, "Help me." You know, she found his website and she sent him an email, "Help me, this is what I did." And he actually phone chats with her, FaceTime with her. And he's like, "Oh my God, you know, if this is what you did you believe it wholeheartedly, 100% believe it when you were doing it?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Then it worked. And it's here. Okay, here's what you've got to do. First of all, you have to understand, these demons, they trick you. So what, you know, you doing that, it's like they're on the other side of the river. You made yourself a bridge to the other side of the river, and that thing is here now. That thing will do its mission. It will not stop until it does your mission, but they always then hurt the vessel, the one who opened the door, the one who was the bridge. So you have to go and do the ritual in reverse to stop it. Otherwise, it's going to kill your mother, and then it's going to hurt you, or vice versa, or both at the same time. So she tries to do that. She tries to go back to the spot. She gets all the stuff. She goes back to do the ritual, only to find the body of her dead mother. Well, she freaks out now. She tries to call 911. She calls Aaron, "Come and help me." 911 doesn't know what to do. She starts running back to the house, and she knows something's after her, you know, and she runs back to the house. And the camera like zooms in on the mother's eyes, and they like move and they open wider. And then that's when you're like, that's not her mom. That's the Pyewacket. That's that thing pretending to be her mom. Because, you know, that guy on the FaceTime, he told her, he said, "These things will trick you. Do not believe your lying eyes." That's the exact quote. That's what he told her. "Do not believe your lying eyes." And I'm like, bitch, did you just forget that? That quick? So she goes back to her house, and the Pyewacket is there. It's like comes after her, and you get to see it. And that thing scared the shit out of me, to be quite honest. Especially when it came out the front door and started running at her and crap. I'm like, fuck me. You know, fuck me running, which is what you would have to do, because I would be running. So, you know, she's like, tries to outrun this thing all through the woods, gets back in the house, she goes and hides in the attic, and then her mother shows back up. Her mother finds her up in the attic behind a bunch of boxes and stuff. And she's like got this big ritual dagger, you know, and, you know, "Leave me alone, don't touch me, I know what you are." And the mom's like, "Why do you have a knife? What's going on? Give me the knife." You know, and she takes her down and puts her on the gun. Now, the whole time, the daughter is like, "You're really the Pyewacket, because you were the Pyewacket a while ago, right?" And I was hoping, right, that Leah remembered that, what the dude told her, and kind of understood. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn out that way. So she waits until her mother goes to bed. They even talk on the couch, you know, and the mom's like, "Why were you in the woods? Why did you have a knife? What were you going to do?" "I think I'll just hold on to this for tonight." So her mother, that's really her mother. And she's thinking it's the Pyewacket, right? So the mom goes to bed, goes to sleep. She's freaking out in the bed, Leah is. And then she goes out there to the car and like gets a giant jerry can and fills it full of gasoline, full of petrol. And I'm like, oh, no. No. And then she goes and she like wakes her mom up. And her mom's like, what are you doing? And what is that smell? And she throws gasoline all over and sets her on fire. And the whole fucking house burns down right as Aaron pulls up. And she's like burnt on the side of the face. And he pulls up and he rescues her. She's out there in the yard. The whole house is in flames. And then we see her in the ER, right? And there's a detective sitting there. And he's like, there was no body. Because remember, she had called 911. So the detective had played that recording of her claiming her mother was dead in the woods. And he's like, you know, there was no dead body in the woods. But there is a dead, burnt up body in that house. And we'd like to know how that fire started. And then that's when the movie ends. And that's because you know she is fucked. And you know exactly what that guy had told her is exactly what happened. That demon tricked her into killing her own mother, doing its job for it, and doing the secondary job as well. She destroyed herself because she's going to go to prison now for killing her mother. And all the talk of a demon mother isn't going to help her. You know how that's going to go. So her life is over, or ruined. So just what that guy had said is exactly what happened to her. And that is, the demon's going to do its mission, and then it's going to take care of you. It's going to hurt you after it does its mission. Vice versa, or one way or another, it's going to do you both. And it did them both. The Pyewacket visually made her kill her own mother. And that was an ugly scene too, burning to death like that. They didn't cut away from it. That was horrible. And, you know, is that the only death in the movie? Isn't that interesting? It's a horror movie with only one death in it. But like the picture says, fantastically creepy. It is. It's, you know, just it having one death in it. I think, yeah, just that one death. It's the atmosphere, and that Pyewacket was scary as shit. But it was the interpersonal drama and the psychological drama and how this girl went down this road to end up calling up a demon, being harassed and tormented by this demon, and then tricked into killing her own mother and destroying her own life. Careful what you wish for and careful what you fuck with is the takeaway of this movie. But it is very good. Great, creepy, kind of Blair Witch atmosphere because a lot of it takes place in the woods, you know, because Pyewacket is a sort of like the Wretched. Pyewacket is a forest spirit, forest dryad type spirit, just like the witch from the Wretched is. Hey, you know, if you think about it, you can put these two movies together for a double feature. It was from the producers of The Witch, or The Vavitch, The Witch. But yeah, Pyewacket and the Wretched would go very good together because they're both like forest demons, right? That's cool. Didn't think about that till just now. You watched me have an epiphany before your very eyes. So, yeah, they're both, that would be a good double feature. Horror, forest horror. But that was Pyewacket from 2017. Do I have to look again? 2017? I was right. And it's a very good little indie, woodsy, psychological horror movie. Supernatural with a demon and all. And they really did really good with the Pyewacket. They even have the Pyewacket listed. I mean, it was a real person. It wasn't CGI or anything. It was a real person, and she's listed in the credits as playing the Pyewacket. But yeah, that was a really good movie. I'm really glad to have it in my collection. Like I said, yeah, it is IFC Midnight. Nice little indie horror movie. Not a lot of killing, but a whole lot of creepy. You know what I mean? You're scared through the movie. Without it being from jump scare murders, you're scared from the evil atmosphere that's going on. So yeah, Pyewacket 2017. If you've ever seen it, let me know what you think about it. If not, give it a shot. If you have some way to do it, it's very nice. It's a very fun little movie. And I will see you in the next one. Love you, miss you, bye-bye. Always remember and never forget, you're a very, very special person. No matter what anybody tells you, even if you have not called up a demon and regret it later. I will see you in the final one of this little block. Bye-bye.